Welcome back to the Old Smoky Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. The super modified tractor category is coming up next, and these guys make a ton of horsepower. It's the big boy class for sure, and you better dig deep in both pockets if you're going to play ball here.
We've got a great mix of vehicles here. You've got a lot of automotive reciprocating engines on these beasts, and we've got one turbine-powered machine in the class as well. So if you want high horsepower and loud ground-pounding action, you're going to find it right here.
Bill Leischner is a multi-time champion side of this category, and once again chasing another championship. Crash spoke to him earlier today.
Well, guys, first up tonight in the E3 Super Modified Tractor class is Bill Leischner. And Bill, I've seen you walking up and down the track. We, of course, had rain this afternoon, and now the Unlimited Superstocks have been tearing up the track. What are you learning, and what are you going to apply to your tractor?
Well, a little nervous. We got a new chassis, got 500 pounds of movable weight. We've been running heavy all year on the front. Put some new tires on here, so we're kind of out in left field, but we got new tires. We're going to put some weight on the front, and being first hook might be an advantage because if we mess up, we can come back. So we're just going to hook the old Speedco dirt slinger up there and hammer down.
So nothing necessarily that you're learning about the track conditions themselves?
Oh, the track conditions, it's a lot better than anybody expected here. The rain actually helped to make a pretty decent track. Afraid it was going to get hard and dry. Well, it's not hard and dry, and looks like the Alcohol Supers are getting a pretty good hold and putting some weight on the nose. So based on the Alcohol Supers, we're going to put some weight on the front and get after it.
And that's a great indicator for this class because the Alcohol Supers run the exact same size tire. So anytime a puller can see the exact same tire that they run go down the track, it gives them a great idea of what their machine is going to do.
Well, it didn't take him long to go full throttle, and then it yanked the front end of that thing up. That was after he said he was going to put some weight on the nose of it. So he decided to get out of the throttle, didn't feel good about it right away. That's very important here, and that's very wise from a seasoned veteran because he won't put a lot of heat inside of those engines. If he's not happy with it right away, click it off, he'll come back later on the run.
Definite advantage of the test puller, and he also saw that he was heading straight out of bounds. And once these modified tractors get completely hooked up, there really isn't a whole lot of stopping them. They hook up hard, they've got a mind of your own. You can't really jab on those individual rear brakes and get it turned around completely. You've got to use steering and throttle control to do it. So, like the wise veteran he is, he made all the right choices out there on the track, and we'll see him a little later in the show.
He is cagey for sure, and that's why he's won so many championships. Leischner first out, and then he'll be followed by Wayne Bunnage, then Ricky Long, Steve Boyd, Steve Bunnage. Of course, the officials are also looking to these guys to try to determine if the sled is also set up properly. So Bill Leischner not able to help them out with that at all. So they're now relying on Wayne Bunnage, and keeps on ticking. We'll find out what he has, and the officials will be watching closely. Great looking tractor, of course, out here on the tour. And that one had full song, no doubt, plenty of weight up on the nose of that one. He ends up at 236 and 16, and Leslie, it wouldn't surprise me that after seeing Bill struggle with it and now seeing this as well, which looked like a decent pull, that they're going to make a change of the sled, and sure enough, there it goes.
They're probably going to remove a couple of those 2,000-pound suitcase weights out of the general tire box on the weight transfer device, therefore lightening up just a little bit because, you know, Wayne Bunnage, he ran the full season last year with that new tractor, and he's a tough competitor. So for him to only go 236 and change, that means it's a pretty heavy boat.
After 3 events in the books here on the 2014 Tour, Ricky Long is your points leader by just 4 over Bill Leischner, and then 6, of course, over Wayne Bunnage. You can see how tight it is. Of course, a lot of pulling yet to go here of the 16 rounds, but typical for the class, it will stay that tight all year long, and certainly right into the last round. Speaking of the Long boys, here he comes right now. Ricky Long in the MAV TV Lucas Oil sponsored machine. And he just softly picks up that front end. It kind of settles back down, slowly pulls it back up again, puts 3:14 on the board, and what appeared to be a beautiful effort here. We'll need a few more tractors to really tell us, but this one looks really good.
And this team is acquiring data for the first time this year, courtesy of a program from TS Performance. And they're acquiring data from about 15 different points on each one of those engines. And you can see the screen that Ricky Long looks at the bottom, flashing that TS Performance logo. So no data that they really look at during the run, but they'll take it back and download it to the computer, and they'll be able to monitor each individual cylinder to see how it performed. It's really just amazing stuff.
That information is so important as well. You can use that data the next time you come back to this track, or if the atmospheric conditions are the same someplace else, you can go right to that and get the engines where they are happy. Green Streak is coming up next, and it's driven by the multi-time Pro Stock champ, Steve Boyd. He's brand new to the category, and a little bit earlier, Terry Boyd had a chance to speak with Steve Boyd.
You might remember in Franklin, Kentucky, Steve Boyd had a problem getting his tractor into gear. Remember, he is a newbie to the class, but you can explain what was going on.
Well, in the Pro Stock class, we have Profab gearboxes, and I never thought about it, but the diesel engine revs up slow, and you rev the gears up, and the gears turn, and they don't fit, and then you rev it a little bit, and they go right in. Well, I revved it up to put it in gear, and I stripped the teeth off, so I couldn't get it in gear no matter what, and that's part of being a greenhorn, I guess. But we got that fixed. We added a box here, Tim Engler did, with a disc brake, so we can push a brake on here and stop the drivetrain from turning and roll it and make sure the gears line up without tearing them off.
The bottom line, you had 5 championships in your prior class. You'd like to do the same here?
Yeah, I'd like to, but it's going to take me a little bit. There's a lot more to it than you can imagine.
And by the way, those two Boyds are absolutely no relation between Terry and Steve, but I'll tell you where the relationship is, and that's championships to Steve Boyd. He can certainly get it done, but it's a lot of fun to watch these guys with so much experience come into a brand new class and try to figure it out. That is getting it done. How about that? Steve Boyd starting to get this thing figured out. 3:17 and 92. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new leader.
And such an excellent amount of patience by Steve Boyd. Watch the right hand. He never goes full throttle till almost the end of the run. Slowly starts headed towards the sideline, and then all of a sudden pours on the power. Just an excellent job of driving, and this shows why he's a multi-time champ in another category, that he just makes it happen here.
Yeah, so much experience, a beautiful job there. And you know what's kind of cool too is he's not getting any help from anybody else inside of this category. They know how good he is, so he might get some advice, but it might not be the advice that he really wants to keep. He's got to figure it out here tonight, though, and he's going to be a tough competitor right to the end. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Speedco Truck Lube and Tires. Built for speed, staffed for quality, delivering world-class value. Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Wyotech. Enroll today. Turn pro at Wyotech.
And you can watch the dance if they go through to fire up all the engines on these super modified tractors here at the Old Smoky Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Wyotech. This is going to be Steve Bunnage, Wayne Bunnage's brother that we saw a little bit earlier. This one's called Takes a Lickin', and Crash spoke to him earlier.
Well, guys, as you know, to open the season, Steve Bunnage had bad luck both nights, on Friday, on Saturday in Franklin, Kentucky. He broke. Tell me exactly what happened, and then how did you rebound in Wilmington, the next event?
On the Friday night, we took it and broke a steering pin that steered the front tires and stuff. Track was kind of rough, and it jerked me, and the front tire hit a groove, and it just snapped it. I mean, we had it fixed by the end of the class, but it already went past 100 foot. Then on Saturday night, we made a good pass, but they flagged me because we lost an oil line. So I had to come back, and when I did that, I only got to run 3 more because we ruined the motor on the first pass.
And then you still came back. You finished last and second to last in that first event. You still came back and won in Wilmington. How?
determination, I guess. I want to climb the ladder, I guess, and I don't know. It's just luck in this sport is about everything it is. I mean, it's luck and E3 behind me. I mean, I told Jonathan, he said, you made us look stupid out there on the setting the sled. I said, well, it's the spark plugs that's doing it.
Well, it's the spark plugs and it's the driver. And guys, check this out. He said luck is everything. So what is a 4-leaf clover?
I hope it's luck tonight.
Look out.
It's the good luck that you want. There's plenty of luck in racing, but it's the good luck that you want. And he started off the season with a couple of bad luck nights, but it's more than luck, of course. It's a lot to do with the preparation. That's why he picked up that win, because this is a really, really good tractor. When it started to tug that thing down a little bit earlier than I anticipated, I kind of wonder if he was on the brake really hard there as well. 288.05. It's kind of tough to tell from that vantage point.
It seems as if there's a lot of bite in the track that's really driving the competitors to the left side. Just watch his feet, especially his right leg. And you can see just a couple sharp stabs of the brake really turns that vehicle around, and you're going to see it even better from this onboard from Ion cameras. Watch his right foot.
And that's right when it drags the RPMs of the engines down as well. He gets off of that brake. They pick back up a little bit, but he had already lost that precious momentum. So up next will be Michael Stewart, the down and dirty tractor, as Steve Bunnage records a 288.05. ProtectTheHarvest.com sponsored machine, and you know, really this entire class now is so strong. Any one of these guys can step up and steal a win at any given time, and this tractor is included.
When this is a really quiet team, so they're the ones that really will sneak up on you.
Now he's in trouble early on, gets out of it, hands up. He's trying to say, I want to stop, I want to stop, before he crosses that 100-foot mark to try and fix it and maybe get back.
When he knew early on that the tractor just wasn't making the power that he was asking it to. And so let's watch his hand on the throttle.
Oh, and the left side butterflies just snapped back shut, so he actually lost power on 2 engines there.
And he knew it right away, and that's why he got out of it so quickly. A very smart move there by Michael Stewart.
Well, let's get it back down to Crash Gladys. She's with Big John Mears, and they're going to decide where that finish line's going to be. Crash?
Well, I'm going to assume with the super modified tractors that we're going to be going for a floating finish. Is that correct?
That's right. These E3 modifieds, they're all within about 15 or 20 feet. This track might get a little bit better, but when you got Ricky Long sitting out there who's won, what, 2 events already, and then you had somebody else like Boyd went 317, they're all going to stack up in there. I only foresee maybe a 330 winner, but
You never know. Are you concerned at all about other weather coming in?
no, it's nice out, right? Not that big a deal.
Exactly.
Pretty simple. Let's not overthink this one. All right, Wayne Sullivan in the Kentuckian coming up next, and new sponsorship on the fenders of that one as well. Getting dirty since 1947, and we're talking about the Tonka toys. Boy, when that thing got hooked up, it yanked the front end of that tractor up, all 4 engines included, as if it was nothing.
And you can see that they've got some mechanical failure right off the bat, shooting some ducts on those front engines. And, you know, this is really kind of a disappointment here for the team. They really thought that they had the Tonka Kentuckian figured out. Last year, they only spun out the tractor 3 times. Before this hook, this year they'd spun it out 6 times in a row, which means they had solid efforts off the get-go. And you can see a fuel line off right away on that front left, creating some of those problems. So down horsepower, obviously, but still a wicked run for the Tonka Kentuckian.
Guys already looking in there, trying to check it out and see if they can figure out what came loose or what went wrong. Wayne Sullivan records a 2:55 and 44, not near the distance to play with the leaders here tonight. Stan Shelton coming up next. Former champ inside of this category, former champ inside of the two-wheel drive category. Out of North Carolina, went to the Invitational earlier this year, had a solid effort out there in Phoenix as well. It's called Shell Shock.
And off to a good start this season. A couple of finishes in the upper echelon in Franklin, and then just an 11th place finish in Wilmington, Ohio, but he wasn't the driver there that weekend.
And the distance, 3, 10, and 19. It won't be enough to take over the lead, but that is an excellent effort out here that will certainly get him up into the top 3.
And he slings a blower belt on that pass, so more mechanical damage for Stan Shelton after Ricky Long drove the machine in Wilmington, Ohio last weekend so he could attend his son's high school graduation. He found actually a crack in that chassis, and so he had to repair that this week, had to have all 4 motors off, had to rehang the motors, fix the chassis. Just an intense work week for Stan Shelton in the Shell Shock, and even throwing that blower belt at the very end, he's got to be happy with the performance of the machine.
Yeah, if that thing wasn't eating itself up there right at the very end, he might have pulled a couple more feet out of that to get up into the top 2. But nonetheless, as you say, after all the changes, a good effort. Steve Boyd leads the group here in the mod tractor category. Stay with us. You're watching the Old Smoky Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. And Joe Ader is up next. He's always a tough competitor inside of this category and a multi-time champ. Terry Boyd spoke with him earlier today.
Want to grab Joe Ader real quick. Mother Nature's been messing with us all day. We had rain before the event, then it just got sticky, muggy like a sauna. Now it's cooling off again. How much is that messing with your setup?
Yeah, the fuel system here tonight, I mean, definitely the motors are definitely rich tonight. You got to take a lot of fuel out to compensate for the air, but we're within about 1 hour from a major storm hitting, so everybody's scrambling, trying to get through and do the best they can.
I noticed you're spending a lot of time up on that track. What are you looking for? Because the word is it's tricky on both ends.
Yes, it is. It's Bargees did an excellent job here. I mean, for the weather they had, you know, so it's the same for everybody. We just got to be smart enough to put it down the track.
These guys definitely going to be consulting their notes on previous tracks that are similar to this, and just intense record keeping goes on in all camps in this category, and actually throughout all our categories here with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League for situations just like this.
And Joe, an absolute study of the game. Of course, a chassis builder by trade. 3:03 and 22. Won't be enough to get into the top 3, but certainly a solid effort here over the 300-foot mark.
And it just doesn't sound like the typical 75th edition that we've seen out here on tracks past. Like maybe he's just a little bit down on power, maybe missed the setup just a bit with that run.
Yeah, with the changing conditions, as he was talking about, that weather rolling in here, the atmospheric conditions can change drastically. And with 4 power plants out there, if you miss it by just a little bit with the moisture in the air, you can lose a lot of horsepower.
It's difficult enough to run one of these high-level pulling operations, let alone to do it with your brothers. But the Bargee family, they've all figured out their roles and how it works out on the track.
For me, it's all about team success. And so it comes down to looking inward and looking at Derek and looking at our other team members, whether it's my other brothers, you know, and we all have good roles. It's like a good basketball team. Not everybody can be the shooter. And my best skills are to, you know, be the coach, be the crew chief, and run the team from the sidelines. So, and that's been a recipe for success. There's been some moments where I got to get on his butt, and, you know, he can fire right back at me.
Rolling back in a hole.
Selective hearing. You gotta have selective hearing, yeah. You're hitting it right on the head, you know, telling you what to do all the time. It's tough, and I try to tell them sometimes, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't driven it, but that's part of the team. You know, you gotta have trust in each other, but there's times when you know, you're gonna get fired up and feelings are gonna get hurt, whatever. That's part of it, but at the end of the day, we're family. Like Ronnie said, I mean, we're all pulling for each other to do what's best, and We want to win.
And we know at the end of the day we're on the same team, and we're supporting each other, and we want to win. We're coming for him. You know, Wilmington, you know, it ran awesome, but that's just the beginning. And, you know, he's keeping it in bounds and straight in the front end. We'll get everything else right. I'll get the tires right. And brother Galen's back involved heavily. He's right there, and our other two brothers, Brad and Randy. Dad's still right there behind us, but as a team, we're focused, and we got the right guy in the seat, and we're going to stay the course.
In short, it's a big family effort, and they're motivated.
And it helps that everyone has a specific role and a specific duty, and that's really what it takes, so no one steps on anyone else's toes.
It sounded like one of the engines might have spooled down there, and maybe he got out of the throttle and back in the throttle. Nonetheless, the distance will be well short of what he was hoping for at 240 and 66, a problem-plagued run.
He leaves the line very, very nicely, and then you can see just lots of problems getting hooked up to the track. As you can see, lots of bounce in the rear tires. They're trying to hook up, but they're just not getting anywhere. A tough run for the Bargy family, and of course, with so much pressure on them this weekend, being the promoter, wanted to make sure that they perform well. You know, they only live about 20 to 30 minutes away from the track here at the Darke County Fairgrounds, so, you know, they want to do good for everybody here this weekend, and then just, unfortunately, the results they weren't looking for.
Bill Leischner has a brand new tractor here for the 2014 season. We had a chance to speak with him about his new ride.
I think we've got a better piece. I think we've got a better chassis, a better tractor, and I've always felt Joe Etter's the man to beat if he hadn't had blower belt trouble. So our chassis are pretty much identical. So I'm feeling good about going into 2014 with this new chassis. The old tractor's sitting there. If we have any problems and we're not happy with what we've done, we can revert back to the chassis sitting there and have it back the way it was and improve it with some weight. So I'm not worried. I'm looking forward to having a narrower frame. I'm looking forward to the frame flexing a little more. I mean, everybody's is making improvements, not just myself. I had to make them so I don't get too far behind. And my prediction is it's going to be a real tough season, and it's going to take some luck.
And he mentioned that 500 extra pounds of movable weight. When I talked to him earlier today, I said, Bill, what are you going to do with all that weight? And he says, I don't know. He goes, it's just so exciting. He goes, I've never had it before. He didn't have a single movable weight on the old chassis, and now he's got 500 pounds. That's huge.
Boy, he went right to full throttle, but unfortunately it pulled him off to the right-hand side of the track pretty violently. As you mentioned before, he had to control it with throttle control and brake, and no doubt that hurt his overall distance. 308.15.
And it almost looks like he's trying an old school move here. He's trying to slingshot to the right side of the track because the track was taking everyone else to the left. And so he wanted to kind of miss that tacky spot that was pulling everybody off to the left-hand side and go on over to the right. So just trying to do something out of the groove, out of the ordinary. And that's where you got to take a chance. He's still going to stay very consistent, though, in the top half of the pack with these results.
Yeah, I don't know that his decision was wrong other than based on his total distance, but the fact that he went 308 while he was on the brake and backing off the throttle, it was a great indicator that there is some grip on the right-hand side of that track. Unfortunately, it threw him a curveball about midway through, and you can also see those clouds over there that the guys are paying attention to closely, bearing down on us.
Just two tractors remaining here as we see Wayne Bunnage. Once again, he gave it a full-on effort before they changed the setting on the sled. So here's his second attempt, his official attempt at the track.
And he just never got a hold of that track. The front end never came up in the air. Maybe a little too much weight on the nose of that one. Nonetheless, whatever it is, you should take a look at that right rear tire. Look at that thing wrinkled up. That's exactly the way they want those sidewalls to work. But he just never got dug in and was not able to pick up some ground speed and get that thing out of there.
It looks like he moved the sled over a little bit towards the left-hand side of the track, splitting those tracks of Bill Leichner, and just maybe moving the sled just a mere 4 or 5 feet makes all the difference in his pull.
All right, we have one tractor left. Can Michael Stewart upset the top 3 here at Greenville, Ohio? Stay with us. We'll find out in just a few moments.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League has been brought to you by Ion Camera, the lightest, fastest, fully waterproof HD action camera on the market. General Tire, anywhere is possible. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Everybody's having a great time here at the Old Smoky Nationals presented by Wyotech. Michael Stewart in the Protect the Harvest back machine hooked up to the sled earlier but had issues. He did not surpass the 100-foot mark, so Terry went over to find out what happened.
Michael Stewart in the Protect the Harvest tractor. You didn't even make it to the line, and it all revolves around your throttle cable. What happened?
Well, when I took off these 2 motors over here, it just sounded like something died. Well, when he's pulling it back around, I just happened to push the throttle open. And this cable right here had come out of the holder. So we put some zip ties on it, and we're ready to go now.
Now, my understanding is that's been in there backwards since Wilmington. Is that right?
Well, before we went to Wilmington, we thought we had something wrong with the rear end. So I pulled all this stuff out back here. Well, to do that, I took the throttle cable. And it was probably like that last weekend.
Bottom line is you're good to go now.
We hope so.
Craziest things, right? You just never know.
Well, he's been patiently watching everyone else go, so he should have a really good feel for this track.
Oh, yeah. A nice controlled effort goes wide open. It sails down the track, no brakes, and he is going to get the win here. The final tractor of the night, and he puts it on the boys. 3:27 and 25.
And just look how nicely the front end lifts, and Michael Stewart carries it all the way down the track, and the Protect the Harvest down and dirty machine. You can see a little oil down there on the back right engine. But man, Michael Stewart just upset the night for Steve Boyd, who was out there as our leader. Just amazing effort here by the team.
Yeah, anytime you can put 10 foot on this class, you've had a pretty spectacular night.
And it was a spectacular night for Steve Boyd, who came out here and just drove amazing on the night. And he ends up at the podium in 2nd place.
Well, guys, Steve was telling me he has training wheels on in the super modified tractor class. I think your training wheels are off now that you've gotten the 2nd place.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I need them. But, no, I'm really happy to be able to do this. You know, the whole class of these guys is, you know, I got in this class and I'm a newcomer, and my gosh, they all bend over backwards to be good to me, and they're just really, really good class of people, and really enjoy doing it. Tim Engler's the one that I got to give the credit to. He kind of helped gear the tractor to where it'll pull gear, and I put a new set of tires on for Come that I liked, and it all worked out really well. These guys here is my crew. Tim here works his butt off with the Pro Stock or the mods or whatever. He's been the one that's really done it all along, and it takes all of us, and nobody can do it by themselves.
Since it takes all of you, dinner on you tonight. Bye for everybody.
Yeah, that's the way it'll probably be. But no, we're really happy. I thank Lucas Oil and Forrest and Charlotte and all the sponsors in this organization. It's really a great organization.
And we take a look at how they finished up here. Michael Stewart, of course, on top, doing a beautiful job, followed by Steve Boyd, and then Ricky Long ends up in the top 3 as well. So let's get it back down to the podium and talk to Ricky.
Ricky Long taking 3rd place tonight. You got to feel good about that. The track was just tricky.
It was. I mean, you know, and we're still pretty new for this mod class. Of course, I mean, it's been 3rd year starting, but it is tricky, but took a lot of horsepower to turn it through that dirt.
Ricky, is really interesting to see our view from the top end of the track. A lot of torque out there with this track. The tractors were twisting every which way but loose.
Oh yeah, I mean that track took a lot of horsepower to turn through it, and the Lucas Oil Mav TV did torque up, made a good run. That's a new chassis, so we're real happy with that. We're trying to be really consistent, and so far it's been a good year.
I've talked to you an awful lot already this year. I'd say you're doing a good job of it.
I hope so. If you can stay over here in the little spotlight, you can probably do well in the points.
As long as he keeps talking to Terry, he's going to find himself on that leaderboard in the right spot. The MAV TV machine, the top of the heap. Michael Stewart, though, climbing the ladder, only 10 points back from the MAV TV Lucas Oil machine with that win tonight.
Michael Stewart, what a night for you tonight. Man, you didn't even know you were going to run. Duct tape and a zip tie got you into first place.
That's right. We went out there the first time, throttle cable fell off, so we turned around, went back, put that on, put some more fuel in, come back last, and the last must have been first.
Well, I'll tell you what, this track has really done some damage tonight on all competitors in all classes. What made it so that you could come out on top tonight?
Don't know. I guess I just drove it right and had the weight and motors right, so it just went.
It was one tricky night. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And of course, if you want to keep up with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League, want to see those inside video highlights, event schedule, and of course, results from all of our events, just head on over to propulling.com. And we want you to hit us up on social media as well. Follow us on Twitter @ProPulling.
It'd be great to have you out at one of our events. Of course, the super modified category has 16 events in the 2014 season, but we're loaded with all sorts of classes that you'll love. We hope you enjoyed all the great action. For Terry Boyd, Crash Gladys, and Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.